analog to digital. So in this we discussed the PCM, pulse code modulation. So now we are going to discuss a digital data. Okay, if you have a digital data, how you can convert to analog signal. Okay, so in this there are three main methods. ASK, okay, that is amplitude shift keying, and the second one is FSK. So today we are going to focus on these two methods. Then third one is PSK, that is called phase shift keying, and we have fourth method, so where that is combination of these two, called quadrature amplitude shift keying, QAM. Okay, so these are the different techniques we are going to discuss. So I think even I have shown. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Oh, here it is not showing for me. Okay, fine. Okay, so how you can just modify amplitude and how you can convert digital data to analog. Okay, only you're going to work with amplitude. You're going to change the amplitude. If it is a binary value, okay, you will be using different amplitude value to represent value 1 and to represent value 0. Okay, so that is for in this case. So you will be keeping remain constant about the frequency and also phase. See, before you are going to study about this, you just know what is amplitude. Okay, the peak of the sine wave. Okay, if this is my sine wave, this peak voltage we call it as amplitude of the signal. Okay, frequency means, so what is the frequency?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, it's like screen is shared, but nothing is visible actually.
Whatever I am writing, it is not.
No, ma'am.
No.
Okay, 1 minute. I'll just close it and I will share. Now?
Yes, ma'am, visible now.
Now
Okay.
visible, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Okay, so this peak voltage we call it as, if you take a sine wave, so the peak voltage we call it as amplitude. Okay, so the in ASK we are going to work with amplitude modulation. Okay, so in the last class, do you remember why we need modulation? I played one video that told about the uh, why we need modulation. Can somebody answer why we need modulation? What is the purpose of modulation? Yes, then what is the use? I think I played that video twice. With just recall that example. Okay, there was a person want to throw the piece of paper. What happened? Yes. Tell me
It
you
did
do
not
you.
move the distance, ma'am.
Huh? Okay. Okay. So you are able to throw it only for shorter distance. Okay. Similarly, whatever I am speaking, okay, so that can be sent if I don't use this modulation technique, it can be sent only for shorter distance. Okay. Normally, whatever I am speaking, the frequency goes to 20 kilohertz. Okay, 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. So this cannot be sent. This alone cannot be sent directly. Okay, if sent also, it may not reach clearly at the other end. So now for that reason, so we need to go for the modulation. What was the person did for sending or throwing that paper for longer distance? The person took a stone, okay, wrapped that stone with the paper and thrown. Okay, what happened? So that particular stone or the paper, it is sent or thrown to for longer distance. Okay, the same thing it is used here. Okay, that is the meaning of modulation. You're just modifying some of the values. Okay, you are just enhancing the values so that it can be sent for longer distance. So in terms of that, so in these three methods, you are going to focus only one characteristics and remaining keeping two other characteristics constant. Okay, so varying one variable or one characteristics, that is in the first case amplitude is going to be varied for 1 and also for 0, and remaining characteristics, that is frequency. Okay, the frequency, how many frequency per second to represent data you are going to use. Okay, it is going to be remain constant for bit 1 and 0, and also phase, from where it is going to start. Okay, so is it the sine wave is starting like this, the phase 90°, or is it starting, this is 90°. Okay, so like that it is using different phase. So this is from 0, this is from 90°. Okay, so like that it is not going to change any of these, either frequency or the phase, only it is going to change the amplitude, that is amplitude of the signal. So example, consider if I have value 0, 1, 1, 0, something like this. Okay, what happens here, it is, what I will make is, so I will, for 0 I will make amplitude, or I will not allow this, I will represent this value with a different amplitude. Okay, so consider I will represent 0 with the 0 amplitude, 1 with the high voltage. Okay, so that is a concept used in ASK. Okay, so we'll just discuss how it is done. For that, what are the other components we need to, it is required to work with this. Okay. Okay. So this is, I think, till here everybody understood. So whenever if you are doing modulation, okay, so definitely it requires to do demodulation at the receiver side. That is the opposite operation, where you are going to convert analog signal to digital data. See, this is going to be, these are the common terms. You are, if you are doing something with the data at the sender side, it has to be reverse the data at the receiver side. Okay, that we call it as decoding. Okay, in case of line encoding and decoding, we have discussed this. So here we are using modulator and demodulator, and also even in the first module where I told about the security. Okay, so where you are going to do encryption, encrypting the data, and here you are going to decrypt the data. Okay, so the reverse operation has to be done to deliver the data at the receiver side. Okay, so you should know these terms. Okay, modulator, demodulator, encoding, decoding, encryption, decryption, something like this. Whatever you're changing here, it has to be reversed back at the receiver side. Okay, so here now we are going to focus on represent the data in terms of analog. Normally you will not get any problems with respect to this topic. You will be getting the explanation. You need to explain, you will be getting a question like explain different digital to analog conversion methods. Okay, then you have to explain all the different methods, whatever I told now. Or you may get the question like explain FSK, ASK, PSK, like that also. The question can be any type, you should be able to answer. So let's, did we started? Okay, I think we have discussed some of the parts here. Some of the characteristics we have discussed. Okay, so these three types plus quadrature amplitude modulation I told. Then we have discussed what is data element, data rate. Okay, so you need to use this formula, and we have solved one problem on this also. What is bandwidth? Okay, so now let me just continue with the carrier signal. Okay, so this is carrier signal is going to carry the data. Okay, whatever the data you want to send, that is carried by this carrier signal. So in analog transmission, the sending device produces high frequency signal that acts as a base for the information signal. Okay, so whatever the signal strength you have, that is not enough. So it requires to generate or modulate the signals using a high frequency signal that is generated. Okay, you are going to combine that with the data. Okay, and that whatever the signal that is generated, high frequency signal, we call it as base signal, or this is called as carrier signal. So why term carrier means it is going to carry the data. Okay, or carrier frequency. Okay, these are the different terms used. So whichever the data you want to send. For that you are going to use this high frequency signal. So that high frequency signal is going to carry the data. It is called as base signal, or carrier frequency. So now the receiving device tuned to high frequency of the carrier signal that expects from the sender. Okay, so even the receiver side, it should be tuned to the same high frequency signal, so that it will be able to receive the whatever the data it is sent by the sender. So digital information then changes a carrier signal by modifying one or more characteristics. So, okay, so now how we are going to represent this carrier signal? It depends on whatever the three types I told. By modifying any one of the characteristics, you are going to generate. Okay, so the device, whatever it is, circuit it is designed for, that it is going to generate the carrier signal. So where it can be an amplitude, or it can be a frequency, or it can be phase. Okay, so when you are doing with amplitude, so these two will be constant. When you are doing with the frequency, so other two will be constant. Okay, so this type of technique we call it as modification. Okay, so that modification means you are changing the data, frequency of the data is changed, or amplitude of the data is changed, or phase of the data is changed. Okay, so that technique we call it as modulation. Okay, so modulation is nothing but shift keying. In that we'll start with the ASK. Okay, this is very important. Normally they will ask this question for 8 marks. Explain 3 different types of digital to analog conversion, or directly the method name. Okay, the first one is amplitude shift keying. Okay, so the name itself tells you're going to modulate the amplitude. Okay, in amplitude shift keying, the amplitude of the carrier signal is varied to create the signal element. So I think everybody are aware of by this time what is signal element, data element. We are using these terms from the last 2 chapters. Okay, so when you want to calculate what is R, okay, number of data elements over number of signal elements. Okay, so the same thing here. So whatever the data it want to carry, that is represented in terms of signal element. So a signal element is varied according to the amplitude. Okay, it cannot be the constant. So both frequency and remains constant while amplitude changes. Okay, this is the definition of the amplitude shift keying. Okay, amplitude of the carrier signal is varied to create the, varied means it is going to change. Amplitude of the data is changed. Okay, for bit 1 it is going to be having different amplitude. For bit 0 it is going to have the different amplitude. Keep remaining other two characters constant. Okay, one is phase and another one is frequency. Okay, so that is called as amplitude shift keying. You are not going to change the frequency or the phase. Only amplitude is going to change in this method. So there is one subcategory called binary ASK. Okay, so why binary ASK? So normally the data we are going to represent in zeros and ones. Okay, so that's why the name it is given as binary ASK. In short, it is called BASK. Okay, so what exactly here it is going to happen? So there are several kinds of signal elements, each with a different amplitude. Okay, signal elements are several, means here we are going to consider 2 levels of signal element. Okay, those 2 signal elements will be represented with 2 different amplitudes. Okay, it can be more than that also, but in this example whatever I am going to consider, it will be having 2 signal element with a different amplitude. Okay, so amplitude shift keying is normally implemented using only 2 levels. Okay, so even though multi levels also it is available, but normally you are going to prefer ASK for implementing only for 2 levels. Okay, so you should know what is the meaning of levels here. Okay, how many number of levels you are going to use, L value. Just recall chapter number 3. Okay, so this is referred as binary amplitude shift keying. Okay, when you are using 2 levels of amplitude to represent the data, so this concept we call it as binary amplitude shift keying, or it can be called OOK. That means on off keying. On means it is representing value 1, off means representing value 0. Okay, so that's why sometimes it is also called on off keying. Okay, it is only for BSK, that is binary ASK, we call it as on off keying. So the peak amplitude of one signal level is 0. Okay, and the other is same as the amplitude of the carrier frequency. Okay, so one you are going to keep the signal level to 0 and other will be having the amplitude of the carrier frequency. Whatever the carrier frequency it is having amplitude value, that will be retained to represent value or the bit 1. Okay, when bit 0 comes, it is the peak amplitude, it is represented with the signal level 0. Okay, here we have a diagram, hopefully it is visible. Just observe the diagram. See, many of you, like I have not yet corrected all the papers, few students are not giving importance to the diagrams. See, in this subject, diagrams are very, very important. Use pencil, okay, at least the scale when you are drawing the diagrams. If not for all, at least for specifying the intervals and all, you have to use the scale. Then only it looks the diagram better. Otherwise, you will be representing interval with a different width. So that indicates that intervals are not same. Okay, so just take care when you are drawing the diagram. So this is binary ASK. So this is the y-axis indicates the amplitude and x-axis indicates the time. So here you can just observe the amplitude of this element. So this is my data 1 0 1 1 0. So now 1 is represented with the frequency as of the carrier signal. Okay, so this is a frequency, sorry, it is not frequency, it is the amplitude. Amplitude of the signal is same as the carrier signal. Okay, when it comes to bit 0, okay, immediately, so the voltage it is represented with a 0. Okay, if it is 1, it is once again taken the same amplitude as of the carrier frequency. Okay, next bit is also 1, so it is having the same amplitude as of the, see, amplitude is this one, the high or peak voltage, we call it as amplitude. You can just observe it is same for all the elements, whatever it is represented. Okay, so and also you can just observe here it is having 1 cycle, 2, 3 cycles. It is going to be same wherever you are representing the bit 1. Okay, 3 cycles, you are just using 3 cycles to represent bit 1. Then you have to use the same thing for wherever the bit 1 comes, and wherever bit 0 comes, so that amplitude is reduced to 0 voltage. Okay, I think it is quite simple to understand, there is no complex here. So now the question arises how it is implemented. So how you are making, when the bit 1 comes, how the amplitude is going to like this and how it will become 0 for bit 0. Okay, so for that we need a special circuit, so that is going to take care of this conversion. Okay, so this is about the bandwidth. I will come to that bandwidth. First we'll understand so how this is implemented, how ASK is implemented, binary ASK. Okay, so just observe here, observe carefully. So this is my digital data 10110. Okay, so the same thing, whatever the example I have taken here, directly it is written. So this diagram tells the how exactly it is converted into ASK. Okay, so this is a digital signal and this is a carrier signal. So this is like according to the previous example, whatever we have used, that stone. Okay, stone, it is acting as a carrier to carry that paper. Okay, so here it is having the high frequency amplitude signals are generated as a carrier frequency, carrier signal. Okay, the device is going to generate the high frequency carrier signal. So now you are going to modulate the data with this carrier signal. Okay, carrier signal. it is going to modulate this data. You can just observe. Okay, so after this is the actual data, this is carrier signal, this is a signal that is going to carry the data, and this is after modulation. Okay, after modulation, this is the output you are going to get. Okay, same thing, whatever I represented in the previous diagram, it is same. So this is the output you got when you pass these two as input. Okay, this is the output you got. So then what is the circuit or the hardware component it requires? You can just observe. So this is the actual data. So here it is having the oscillator. So this oscillator is going to generate the I frequency. Okay, so this whatever the I frequency that comes, that is multiplied with the the digital signal. Whenever if you multiply high frequency, FC with the 0, where you're representing 0 voltage, just try to understand here. For one you are using high voltage, and for 0 for bit 0 you are using 0 voltage. Okay, so in such case what happens? So whatever the frequency you apply, whenever if the voltage is 0, the output is going to be 0. Yes, no? So here you just remember, this is the input, it is coming, and here there is a circuit that is going to multiply this input digital data with the high frequency generated by the oscillator. Okay, so that is, let me just take, if you are getting high frequency here, so that is high frequency or amplitude I'll take. Okay, high amplitude. If you multiply with high frequency, you will be just getting high frequency signal only. And if the amplitude is 0 here, okay, the 0 amplitude multiplied with high frequency, what you will get? You will get 0 only. Okay, the same thing you are going to get at the modulated signal. This is the modulated signal. You can just observe. So this is bit 1. Accordingly, you are getting amplitude, high amplitude. When it comes to 0, you can just see, so it is represented with a 0 voltage. How it is done? By multiplying the input with a high frequency signal that is generated by the oscillator. Okay, similarly next bit, if it is 1, you will be getting the high frequency signal, high amplitude. It is not frequency, actually you are working with the amplitude, you need to use the term amplitude. Okay, so here it is just a consideration that you are using the unipolar NRZ here. Unipolar NRZ. Okay, what is the meaning of that? See, when you want to understand these topics, you should be knowing the previous topics. So there is a lot of link. Now if I use unipolar NRZ, I don't know how many of you know, maybe because recently you written test, most of the people will be knowing. So where you will be representing 1 with the high voltage, okay, 0 with the low voltage. Okay, the same thing it is done. Okay, it is just consideration of that the digital signal, whatever you are taking as an input, it is represented using NRZ. Okay, so 1 is represented with high voltage and 0 is represented with low voltage. Okay, so now whatever the input that is coming, that will be multiplying the NRZ digital signal by the carrier signal coming from the oscillator. So this oscillator, the function of this oscillator is to just keep generating the high frequency signal. Okay, it will be keep on generating. So now whatever the signal it is generating, so that is multiplied with the input. The input is coming in the form of NRZ, unipolar NRZ. Okay, so in that case, when the amplitude of NRZ signal is 1, the amplitude of the carrier frequency signal, amplitude of the carrier frequency is held. That means whatever the amplitude of this particular signal, okay, carrier frequency, it will be held. Okay, if it is what is amplitude it is having, the same thing it is going to retain. In case if the amplitude of NRZ signal is 0, okay, you can just see this is 0. So then amplitude of the carrier frequency, so the amplitude of this carrier frequency is set it to 0. Okay, I think this is quite simple to understand. There is nothing complex. Just take 1 minute time and try to understand. If any queries, I will clarify. Just go to the, don't see anything, just focus on to the diagram. That's very, very important. Hopefully diagrams are visible very clearly. Understood, no, everyone? Even if they ask in the exam, just draw this diagram, okay? Explain this, and also there are, depending on the question, okay, depending on the question, it requires to explain even about the bandwidth. Okay, I will explain that now. If it is for less marks, 6 marks, all 3 means it is enough to draw the diagram and explain. So many of you are failing in that. I think Anum is there in the meeting. Anum, are you there in the meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Why you are not drawn the diagrams? I think most of the topic you are not drawn the diagrams. I don't know. Even for digital data flow. I mean not digital, just data flow. Duplex, half duplex. You forgot or you just neglected, not required?
In the assignment.
No, in the test paper.
Well, I didn't think it
Not
was important. I didn't know that.
no,
I'm
no, I
sorry.
told, see, from the beginning of the class, I am telling not only to you, to everyone, diagrams are very, very important. And those diagrams are not complex. It is just a block diagram. Okay, so let me just. Okay, just a block diagram. It will not take much time to draw the thing.
Yes, ma'am. I'll do diagrams from the
Okay,
next time.
don't neglect, yes, don't neglect diagrams. Everyone, I am not telling only to Anu, at least she has done mistake, but I told many times the diagrams are very, very important. So even if you write 2 pages, it's of no use without diagram. So definitely you have to write the diagrams followed by the explanation. That is a good habit of practicing the writing the answers. Okay, and when you are writing any diagrams like this type of signals, just better to use pencil. Okay, if you do any mistakes, you can just clear it. You can just rub it and you can redraw. If you are writing or practicing directly, so you are doing strikeout, and it is going to be like complex when I am evaluating the sheets. Okay, sometimes it is going to uh, make a confuse which is the correct answer also. That's why diagrams are very, very important. If it is just simple block diagram, the first, second chapters, I think very simple diagrams. You can just use pen in that case. Okay, when you are writing about the diagrams with respect to signals, maybe everybody not comfortable or confident to write the sine wave with a equal interval width. So in such case, you just use the pencil wherever it is necessary. Okay, that's okay. So just correct yourself. Next. So there is one important characteristics we need to discuss with respect to ASK is bandwidth. Okay, so what is the bandwidth required for modulation of ASK? Okay, so here the carrier signal is only one simple sine wave. So always the analog signal it is represented using a sine wave. So the process of modulation produces non-periodic composite signal. Okay, the bandwidth is proportional to, I think in the last class I told, so in case of ASK, bandwidth is directly proportional to the signal rate. Okay, bandwidth is directly proportional to the signal rate or baud rate. Okay, so now what is the bandwidth required for ASK? So here there are some of the special terms used to calculate what is the bandwidth required. Just have a look into that. There is a factor involved when you want to represent what is the bandwidth required for ASK. So the special factor is D. Okay, so what exactly it tells is which depends on the modulation and filtering process. Okay, I'm just adding this one more term when I am calculating the bandwidth. Okay, so this D indicates it depends on the what type of modulation I am going to use and what is the filtering process I am going to use during modulation. So that factor is represented with D, and it lies between, I think it lies between 0 to 1. Okay, you will be getting the value, what is the value of D in the problem. Accordingly, you can calculate what is the bandwidth required. Okay, so just remember, it is a factor considered when you want to calculate bandwidth in case of ASK. Okay, and we'll be having the signal rate. What is the signal rate? Or represented with S, and bandwidth is represented with B. So if this is the case, what is the bandwidth required? Let me just go to the formula. Okay, so the formula for this ASK to calculate the bandwidth is so that is B is equal to 1 plus D. Okay, it is a modulating factor into S. Okay, into S. So this is the formula you need to use when you want to calculate what is the bandwidth required for ASK. Okay, so there is one more important, how to calculate or how you can fix the band frequency value. Okay, so for that, this is the explanation. So here there is an important point for the location of the bandwidth. The middle of the bandwidth is where the frequency is considered, that is FC. Okay, what is the frequency used? The carrier frequency. It is taken if this is the bandwidth. What is the mid of this bandwidth? That is considered as the carrier frequency. You can just observe. So this is my bandwidth means. Okay, you just see this blue color box. So this is the bandwidth. So in this, if you want to identify what is the carrier frequency, okay, carrier signal that is carrying the data, so that is denoted with midpoint of this bandwidth as FC. Okay, so for this we'll be considering band pass channel. Okay, so just remember these terms, and this is the formula used to calculate the bandwidth. So now we'll just solve one problem. Okay, so where in that case they have given the high frequencies. Okay, that is minimum. When I am telling band pass, so you will be having min and max frequency. Okay, mean and max. This is called as the band pass channel. Okay, so it will pass only the frequency that is comes under min and max. Okay, so in case if they have given min and max, you should able to calculate what is the midpoint. What is the midpoint? That indicates the carrier frequency. Okay, carrier signal. What is the frequency used? So now just assume what is the available bandwidth they have given. So the available bandwidth okay, always when they have given the problem, just try to note down the given data first. Okay, so I'll just read the question. What is the bandwidth? It is 100 kilohertz. That is 100. Bandwidth is 100 kilohertz. That is 100 into 10 power 3. So which spans from 100. Okay, so 200 to 300 kilohertz. So this is a frequency. So this 100 kilohertz, it lies. Okay, if this is the frequency. Okay, if this is a bandwidth, they have given the frequency starts from 200 to 300. Okay, now what is the midpoint here? It is 100. Okay, so the midpoint of this bandwidth is 100. So what are the carrier frequency and bit rate if we modulate our data using ASK? Okay, what is the question they asked? You need to calculate what is the bit rate. Okay, that means you need to calculate what is AS, and also Okay, so what are the carrier frequency? You need to calculate what is FC. Bit rate and FC you need to calculate. And D, they have given value equal to 1. Okay, so now let's start. So the middle of the bandwidth is located. Okay, so the middle of the bandwidth, if it is, this is 100. Okay, this is 200 and this is 300. What is the middle you will get? You will get 250. So that is the frequency used. Okay, 250. It is the frequency 250 kilohertz. That is the carrier frequency used. You can just directly write. Okay, FC is equal to 250 kilohertz. So for that you need to understand this, how it is calculated. They have given the min and max. From that you will be able to take the midpoint of the frequency, midpoint value. So you will get that is the frequency used for generating the carrier signal. So next we need to calculate what is S. Okay. So formula, just write the formula. B is equal to 1 plus D. Okay. So B is equal to 1 plus D into S. So here actually you need to calculate what is S. Okay, so you just substitute the values accordingly. So 1 plus D is 1, you will get 2. So 2 into, so this S, it is represented in terms of the previous, just recall how to calculate bit rate. Okay, the same formula it is substituted here directly, not S. 2 into N into 1 by R. So this we have solved one problem also in the previous class. So now I know the bandwidth. I need to calculate the bit rate, that is N value. Okay. So that is 2 into. So here there is one more assumption is R is equal to 1. That means each data element is carried by each signal element. Okay. Each data element is carried by each signal element. So in such case, value of R is equal to 1. If that is the case, you will be getting B is equal to 2N. Okay, so B is equal to 2N. 2 into N. So now I want to calculate what is N. Okay. So that becomes B by 2. What is B? What is bandwidth? This they have given. They have given bandwidth is 100 kilohertz. It becomes 50 kbps. Okay, so bit rate. So it is represented in terms of kbps. So this is the answer for this. So here it requires to remember this formula and also the previous formula, that is S is equal to N into 1 by R. Okay, so just somewhere you write it, lot of formulas in this particular topic. So we'll be just confusing with that. Okay, this is one problem. I think it's time up. If you have any query, you can just ask. So there is one more problem I want somebody to solve this. This is just where they have used the concept of full duplex link. Okay, in such case, how to calculate the mid frequency of the carrier signal? You just go through this. So if you have understood this part, you can just understand this problem also. Okay, so in the tomorrow's class, okay, that means when you want to consider the binary value zeros and ones, so how it can be transmitted, you can just observe the diagram. So how this data is carried through the carrier signal. Okay, so the process I have already explained how it is implemented. Okay, this is a diagram that tells how ASK is implemented, where it requires an oscillator, so that will generate the high frequency, that is carrier signal, that is multiplied with the input that is represented using unipolar NRZ. Okay, when you multiply these two, okay, you will be getting the modulated signal. Okay, so that is amplitude shift keying, where you are going to modulate to different amplitudes. Okay, so one is represented with a high amplitude. Okay, if it is bit 0, represented with 0 amplitude. Okay, so you can just see this is a multiplier. If it is 0 voltage is coming, if you multiply whatever may be the high frequency, the output is 0 only. Okay, if it is having high frequency, so that is multiplied with the high frequency carrier signal, so definitely we'll get high amplitude signal. Okay, so this is how the binary ASK works. Okay, binary ASK, that is to represent bit 1 and 0. And this is the diagram to understand how ASK works. So here it requires the carrier, the signal, and this is the input. When you apply this carrier signal, multiply with this input using this oscillator, it will generate this carrier signal. And when you multiply these two, so the resultant is the modulated signal. So you will get the signal like this. Okay, so this all I already explained. Let me just move to the, even we have discussed about the bandwidth. Okay, how to measure the bandwidth in ASK. Yes, no? And you have to remember the formula for ASK. Bandwidth is calculated using B is equal to 1 plus D into S. Okay, so D is the factor range from 0 to 1. Accordingly, you can calculate whatever may be the parameter it is asked. Okay, so next move on to, I think multi-level ASK is already explained. Okay, just let me start from there. So we can have multi-level ASK. Okay, multi-level means not only 0, only for one bit, 1 and 0. It can be more than one bit. Okay, whatever we have discussed in binary ASK to represent only one bit at a time. So here we can have multi-level ASK in which more than 2 levels. Okay, you will be having more than 2 levels. We can use so 4, 8, 16 and more different amplitude for the signal elements. Okay, so the number of levels you are going to use more, it can be in this range. Okay, so where each signal element will be carrying the set of bits. If it is 2 bits, okay, if it is carrying 2 bits, so in such cases you will be able to get the, so 1 0 1 1, you will be able to get 4 different levels. If it is 2 bits, if it is carrying, modulating, okay, you will be getting 0 0 1 0 0 0 and 0 1. Okay, so you will be getting the 4 different amplitude to represent these data. Okay, so if it is 0 and 1, you will take high amplitude for this. Okay, amplitude, and 0 amplitude for 0. But if you are representing more than 1 bit or 2 bit, so this is the process you are going to use. For 4, 8, 16, you will be having so many different amplitudes. If you are using 2 bits at a time, so then all possible values you can get here, it is 4. So in that case you need 4 amplitude to represent each set of the information. Okay, in case, so that is R is equal to, in this case for this, R is equal to 2, R is equal to 3, R is equal to 4. Okay, so what is the meaning of this? You should be knowing.